like the optimism. All right. Jeskai Feather. Feather, for those not familiar, refers to this card, Feather Redeemed. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature you control, instead of that card going to your graveyard afterwards, you get to exile it, and it comes back to your hand at end of turn. Jeskai, for those newer to Magic, refers to this color combination you see in front of you here of red, white, and blue. This deck is a base red-white deck with a blue splash for Dorat the Perfect Pet and Royal Scions in the main deck, as well as some Disdainful Strokes, Mystic Disputes, and Deputies of Detention post-board. We played a number of Feather variations in Historic to date. And I really like this archetype. Cards like Defiant Strike are really good. I think Reckless Rage was a premium removal spell in Historic before Winota was a thing. And with Winota now being a thing, I think Reckless Rage's stock has just gone up even more. I've even got a couple of Redcap Melees here in the sideboard to respect the Winota decks extra. So let's go ahead and pop on into a Historic constructed event with this one and see how it goes. My children are small enough that they don't really have a good grasp of what's going on fully. They just know that they're hanging out at home and they're getting to play a lot of Switch and watch a lot of TV instead of going to school. Obviously, we're doing school stuff with them too as well. That's a little bit different, but you know, it's not 8 hours a day or 7 hours a day or whatever it was that they were used to before. Stream title, thank you. Do I handle the math lessons? Yeah, it's all pretty simple at this level. Monday's gone real swell. Standard was the dumpster fire we expected it to be. Historic's off to a reasonable start. Germ, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, the governor of Illinois issued a 5-stage plan to slowly reopen the state as certain goals and thresholds are met. And the final stage that would allow things like large Magic tournaments and other big gatherings like concerts to happen has a vaccine of some sort being available as a requirement. I think I'd rather get this going before... Feels bad, man. Really wanted to draw one of our haste threats last turn. It's pretty unfortunate that we drew 2 Dreadhorde Arcanist and none of our haste threats here. Pretty big wrong half problem, so to speak. This card's really good against other creature decks and things that don't have a ton of removal, and it's really not great against our friend Teferi here. I agree, Torbjorn. I agree. For my understanding of what the reasonable scientists have recommended, not having large gatherings until there's a vaccine available is reasonable. But like, there's also, from my understanding, again, I'm not a scientist. You should do research and listen to people that have good educated stances and know what they're talking about. Things like contact tracing and other things like that can allow you to open up in small capacities. Schools, places of work can reasonably still happen potentially, even without a vaccine with proper precautions. And people being smart. Ignorant hillbillies and rednecks refusing to wear masks in public, though. Things like that don't help, though. Things like that don't help returning to some semblance of normal sooner. I think I bring in Light of Hope here since they had Banishing Light main. Bring in a couple of counter spells and some extra Adanto Vanguards. There's 2 pandemics, COVID-19 and stupidity. Ain't that? If that ain't the most honest thing I've heard today, I don't know what is. Sounds good, James. Correct. Hillbillies and rednecks does not refer to just people in the South. There were a bunch of people that I would describe as ignorant hillbillies in Michigan recently. This is pretty good. I think I'm supposed to keep the lands on the bottom of the stroke for now. Yes, and from my understanding, there is some actual merit to things talking about things like herd immunity that gets developed over time. The key, from my understanding, is having it happen in a way that doesn't overwhelm hospitals. You'll note here something a little bit tricky I've done is I've shocked in my second land even though I have a land that doesn't hurt me. And the reason for this sequencing is this way when I play my 10th District Legionnaire next turn, I have an untapped land that doesn't hurt me, and it makes it less clear that I have a card that can interact with my opponent's stuff. So if I shock in my third land without using the mana, it screams from the rooftops, I have something to do with this mana, whereas this way, it's less clear that I have something to do. Hey, Ninja Turtle Jr., thank you for the 20 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Correct. That is also true, what Dell says. Herd immunity assumes the development of antibodies that are then immune to reinfection. We don't know that yet. There's a ton. The easiest way I've found to figure out which people are reasonable and which people aren't is that you hear experts like Fauci talk about everything with a lot of uncertainty because they're smart enough to know that, like, we don't have all the information. This is still really early, and there's a lot of things that could change based on learning more about what's going on. This is a different deck from last time we played Jeskai Luris. This is Jeskai Feather, James. It's been so long since I've seen a Settle the Wreckage. I'm scared, chat. I'm scared. You can't live in fear, but I am scared. It's important to not let fear control your turns, chat. It's okay to be afraid, but don't let it not let you make good decisions. You got settled twice in a row in Winota yesterday. Gross. You got settled 4 times yesterday. Man, these people need more Gruul Spellbreakers in their lives. These people not been Gruul Spellbreakered enough? So things like that, Torbrand, that aren't proven with certainty, I'd prefer you not post information like that in my chat, because it's potentially spreading misinformation, which I'd prefer not to do in my spaces. Fight is one is really good. This card was such an incredible addition to these archetypes. Being like +4/+4 on boards like that for 1 mana, countering sweepers, like. Yeah, so funny. my list of decks that we're going to try probably on Wednesday, because I am off tomorrow. Reminder, my schedule is I'm off Tuesdays and Fridays. On Wednesday, we're going to try Mardu Knights in Standard as a deck I might play in the MCQ. Bump up the party bus. Sounds good, Shuffler. I'll get that bumped after I'm done today. Wow, someone on my Twitter just pointed out a really interesting stat. God, MTG Melee is great. This is a sweet stat we can see. Boros Cycling had a 77% pre-sideboard win rate and a 42% post-sideboard win rate. Holy crap. And like Luca Fires, 68% win rate, 60% pre-board, almost 72% post-board. Like, whew, standard. Whew, standard. I think I'm supposed to, sorry, back to this, I think I'm supposed to mulligan triple feather here. This hand's much better. And again, if you're interested in where that data came from, if you click through my website there to our Melee page for Hoots, Melee runs lots of tournaments that you can play in, and they have lots of data from the lots of tournaments that have been run on their site. Cycling wins a significant amount of matches by punking people out game one, and then when they get to bring in better interaction and sideboard appropriately post-board, the deck falls apart. I think I'm just passing here. Rather than playing into an absorb. Teamer Reclamation won 40% of game ones and 48% of its matches. Lol. Before anyone says anything about my aggressive stroking of my opponent there, I would like the record to reflect that I was a gentleman and bought them dinner first. I think I just want to smack them. I think I want to get to 5 mana here. So looting doesn't really accomplish anything because I kind of want all the cards in my hand. Man, Dispute's a good draw. Having access to counter spells out of the sideboard with the blue splash is really nice. Unfortunate that we don't have anything else to pump this with. Getting a little bit punished for not being more aggressive to start. Let's just play out some extra threats here. We're in an okay spot. Again, Adanto Vanguard, in addition to good mana, being one of the key things that allows aggro decks to be competitive in this format when they really struggle in Standard. Just these tools that we have to keep up with these greedy control decks. Do we chump for Scions? That's a good question. Yeah, probably. Probably. Because, like, if they have something that can exile Scions post-combat, they're going to get to exile my Feather anyways. And Scions are ready to ult here, so... MTG Melee, 6 feet apart. So happy together. Do 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 do. We're gonna get Aether Gusted here. Okay, if they have nothing, they're dead to this. We're gonna get absorbed and die. That sucks. Real close game. Real close game. Not quite able to pull through. Opponent's answers lined up well there. Having a slightly better chance against Greed doesn't make it a guarantee by any means. They're putting some of the wreckage back on top here. Yeah, we're pretty good. So close game 3. Game 1 was a little bit rough due to the fact that we drew a lot of our cards that just weren't good against the control deck. So we had double Arcanist. There's not a whole lot to do with them. I think if we had drawn our haste creatures as opposed to Dreadhorde Arcanist, we'd probably win the first game pretty handily. When I shout out your Discord, I asked for some help on a historic Art Lake Phoenix deck and got some suggestions. I went 4-2 in my next event after going 0-2 twice before. Awesome, Ironclad. Glad to hear it. Yeah, if you're a sub in chat and you're not in the Discord and you're looking for a place to chat about Magic with some like-minded individuals, the Discord's a great place to be. Just like this chat here. It's a little fairly well moderated. Yorion, but led on Temple of Abandon. Maybe some kind of elementals. Jeskai probably has better games versus control. Like, I don't know that that's strictly true. Gruul Spellbreaker is a big card to lose, not having against control decks. Like, Gruul Spellbreaker is, like, real good. Paradise Druid is also pretty good against control in a kind of really unassuming way, just because getting ahead on mana can be a big deal. Bibbins, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. You're having a good one wherever you are. Yeah, looks like Yorion Field. Jeff, I played this archetype in Standard before rotation. I was playing Baby Tef in the 75 because it felt good. The tempo. Do you have thoughts on it being a slot in this version? Not really. I don't like, I'm like trying to think of, I'm trying to envision what a match looks like what a game looks like where that's useful. Like where I'm normally losing, but that's a card that's getting me out of it. And, like, I feel like against control decks, I feel like against a control deck, I'd rather be... What's the word I'm searching for? Against a control deck, I would rather... Against a control deck, I would rather... my words aren't working. I'd rather be counterspelling them as opposed to trying to lock them out of their interaction at instant speed. Those are my words. Sense of failure, please, someone please restart the Jeff. Should have picked Pro Blue. Yeah, technically. It didn't matter. As shown, it just didn't matter. Mail-in voting is not a bad thing. Mail-in voting is a very good thing, and the only people that make mail-in voting to be a bad thing are people who are incredibly ignorant of reality, or people who stand to lose something by more people voting, aka Republicans. The idea that mail-in voting is a liberal conspiracy is easily counteracted by the point that the state of Utah has full mail-in voting. They're not exactly a cesspool of liberals or progressives in Utah. There are a number of states that have had mail-in voting as an option for everyone for a long time. It is a good thing if you want people to vote. Sure, and those people are ignorant. I don't care how they vote. Mostly Republican, sure. Actually, in fact, take a 10-minute timeout for actuallying me. We do nearly exclusive mail-by voting in Oregon. We have one of the highest turnout rates in the country and almost non-existent for fraud. Yeah, correct. The only vote by mail fraud that has happened in recent memory was, I believe, in one of the North Carolinas. Was it in one of the Carolinas? It was in a southern state, and it was a Republican committing voter fraud. Anybody know which state it was? It was one of South Carolina. Yeah, I thought it was one of the Carolinas. Was it North Carolina? North Carolina House Representative. Okay, sure. Yeah, Google it. One of the Carolinas. Listen, Chad, I live in Illinois. All the Carolinas are the same. Okay? They're all the same. The Dakotas are the same. The Carolinas are the same. They're just places far away from me. I think this is too slow. I think I want to try and mulligan for a 2-drop in my 6. This is great. We're going to keep this. We're going to bottom a land. North Carolina, East Carolina, Upper Peninsula, you know, whatever. And honestly, if I was in the market to move anywhere in the coming months, I was looking to move somewhere in the United States, I would look at how states handled everything with COVID and factor that into part of where I would move to if I had several options. Would definitely be something on my mind of things that I want or don't want. I actually boarded out Dreadhorde Arcanist, if you recall how I sideboarded. I also think Uro's way more important for them than Grafdigger's Cage is for me. So it's interesting to see that included in their deck. So I'm going to elect not to play Feather this turn, because there's a chance that my opponent has enough mana to play Yorion around my Mystic Dispute here, which is unfortunate. Getting value on the Dispute here when they're on 7 lands feels good. It's also possible, something I consider in the sideboard, I'm actually not certain that I want a split. I might just want 4 strokes in this format. Yeah, their cage is symmetrical. It does turn off their arrow. They brought in Cage because we beat them with Dreadhorde Arcanist in game 1. A little bit of an overboarding reaction, I think, on their part. Sounds good, G2s. Will do. Unfortunate that we didn't have a protection spell there. Right on time, God's willing. Welcome to the party. Enjoy your stay. Wow, that's brutal. Need to draw that right there. Need to draw that right there. Have I mentioned how absurd Fight As One is in this deck? Have I mentioned the absurdity of Fight As One? I feel like it's been at least 10 minutes since I mentioned it, but like this card is just such a huge power level upgrade. Huge power level upgrade. Love it. They fight as one. I think I'm looking for more tricks here, rather than that. They're so happy together. Do 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 Neglected to play this out because I didn't want them to know this could be blocking something meaningful. Is there any better aggro deck in Historic than Gruul aggro right now that you'd recommend? I think Gruul aggro is the best deck in Historic. I think how much better it is than other decks is small, though. And I think decks like Feather and the Grixis deck that we just played are also competitive. You think Winnow is the best? I'm going to split hairs and say that I don't really consider Winota to be an aggro deck. I consider it to be more of a combo deck. And you would be fair to say that I'm splitting hairs with that assessment, but it's how I feel. I think the Arc Field deck's very good. Again, this format isn't standard. When you ask me for my opinion on what deck is playable, the answer isn't just this one or these two. There are a ton of decks that are great in this format. It's the reason why I like this format. Did I not post it in Stream Decks? Oh yeah, I totally forgot to. There, it's on Discord now. It's also on my website. Good game, Sky. Good luck in the rest of your constructed event. Not sure how I feel about this versus the Luris build. Windowhead donated to see the Luris build again on the next stream, so we'll be playing that one again on Wednesday. I'm interested to compare. I think I'm kind of leaning in the direction as far as Jeskai colors are concerned, preferring the Luris configuration. The not having extra mana from Paradise Druid in here has been a little bit clunky, it felt like. Yeah, I think I might agree with that assessment, Zach. Another Yorion deck. Our historic events 50% okay. I mean, to be fair, if you're playing historic and you watch Twitch, you probably are watching this channel. Like, I don't like. Here's a good note for aspiring Twitch streamers, by the way. When I finish streaming historic in the afternoon, I always go and look for someone to host who's also playing historic when I'm done. And half the time, there's no one live streaming historic. So, you know, if you're someone that streams Arena on Twitch on occasion, and you'd like a host after I'm done in the afternoon, play some historic. I host Marty plenty. Yeah, Marty, if Marty's on, I usually send people his way. He's great. He supported my channel a lot, and he plays a lot of historic too. Anyway, in fact, when I said half the time there's no one to host, during the half of the time when there is someone to host, it's usually Marty. I'm going to put a stop on my opponent's second main phase here. So this way I can Defiant Strike before their end step, so I get the Defiant Strike back. Again, just get to cycle this card with Feather. Also, as a general reminder, there's someone in chat saying they're not home when I log off. If you're in the Hoaglandia Discord, there's upwards of 1,000 people in there. You should make sure you post when you go live in our community streams channel. There's a channel in there that's just people posting whenever they're live with anything on Twitch. So people that are in Hoaglandia that want to watch other people in the community's content, they can have a place to do that. Do I want Reckless Rage here? I feel like I might, right? Because, like, I can double this up to kill through their bigger threats. Even killing Fibblethip's not that bad.
Let's slow this down.
No, all types of stream Shadow. Obviously, most of the ones in there are Magic streams. But you are welcome to post anything you're streaming on Twitch in there. You think they're playing Kisis combo? Yeah, maybe. They could also just be Bant with some off-color Triomes. Don't target Fibblethip, it won't work. Stop it, Magic players. This card targets both creatures, so targeting Fibblethip is fine. You're right, Fibblethip will run away and it won't technically kill him. But my Reckless Rage still works just fine.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
This is pretty unlucky here. Have to discard to hand size. That's also, this having two targets is also good to note when you are, having two targets is also good to note if someone's playing Reckless Rage against you, you can't just kill the thing they're targeting on their own board and stop the Reckless Rage. That is not how Magic works. Reckless rage. Some things die while others feel the pain. Reckless rage. Do 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 do. Pew pew pew. Can I get those cards back? Thanks. Thank you. Want to leave all my white mana up here. When Feather gets going, it's very, very hard for most decks to keep up. Gosh, I had to discard 3 cards to hand size. Is there anyone as unlucky as we are, chat? It's pretty unlucky having to discard that many cards to hand size. Well, that's super unfortunate. We unfortunately we could find a fight as one. Rats, never lucky. Are they dead? 14. So this is 3. And then each of these is 3. If I draw an untapped white source, they die, right? No, I'm short, right? It would be 3, 6, 9. Damn, she's fine. Only 12 damage in there at 14. Getting low. Getting low, getting low, getting low. What am I bidding here? Is it just God's Willing? I feel like I want all of these. No, I want the Reckless Rage. Oh, they are just full-on 4-color, huh? Okay. Should have played Vanguard and Feather. You think so? You think I don't want the 2 points of damage there? Maybe we're supposed to have been the Vanguard because no haste. I don't know. What do I need 2 God's Willing for? I think I'm in for the land, actually. You should sing Reckless Rage to the tune of Chocolate Rain. You obviously haven't heard me sing before. You very clearly have not heard me sing. For people suggesting I hold up spells, we are currently playing Hearthstone. Dispute and Stroke both seem fine here. Want my extra Vanguards against, want my extra Vanguards against their what's it called? Do I always stop about 3 p.m. or do I go a bit later sometimes? For the next little bit, I'm gonna be stopping about 3 p.m. Probably when Historic Anthology releases, we'll do some late days. But I do a lot of late days around set release and then tend to scale it back after. I usually go live about 8:30 in the morning. And usually I try to do about 6 to 7 hours, which usually runs into about 3 o'clock. Your singing may not be good, but it's definitely great. I appreciate you. What are my cuts here? Is it crazy to just trim God's Willing? Would I rather have God's Willing or Reckless Rage here? They have Kisa, so I feel like Reckless Rage is probably a premium. They didn't have that much spot removal, and Fight as One is better against their sweeper, so I think I'm just trimming the God's Willing. Let's do that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think God's Willing is awful. I'm not boarding all of them out, but I think it's definitely worse than some of the other cards I'm bringing, if that makes sense. I'll have Science help for you. Underwhelming, Wargame. Underwhelming. I feel like I'd probably just play the last 2 Vanguards in the main. I don't know. If I'm being honest, Dreadhorde Arcanist has also been kind of medium. You like Gideon. Yeah, I think Gideon's sweet. Gideon's another, like, Adanto Vanguard-like card, which lets you dodge sweepers. Yeah, we've also, to be fair, to give Arcanist credit where credit is due, we've played against a bunch of Teferi decks so far in this set, and Arcanist is definitely extra bad against that. I mean, to be fair, like, Teferi's playable in this format. He's not as obnoxious, he's not as unbeatable as he is in Standard, but still sees plenty of play. Yeah, you're not new, Spankweasel. Take a break. That's just gonna be my line. If you've been here long enough to have a sword and you can't follow the card recommendation rules, I'm just like, gonna like give you a little take a break. What's my opinion on aggro and Standard? I think none of the aggro decks in Standard are actually very good. I think their average draws are embarrassing and borderline unplayable. I think their best draws are very good, which is why they still see some play. But I think your average draw is bad to unplayable. Disputing Teferi isn't a game action, it's a feeling. That's like the truest thing I've heard in a long time. I put some Eurobeat on while playing the cycle deck. Going under Fools to gas is very satisfying. I agree. The cycling deck is very satisfying to play. I also think the Luca Yorion mirrors are incredibly unsatisfying to play, which is why it's pushing people who want to play Standard specifically to playing the aggressive decks, even if they're not very good. Would non-rotating formats be better if cards released into them only when they rotate out of Standard? I have no idea, Necker.
Let us see if your talents are worth cataloging. Let me aid your research.
Only time will tell.
Answering the why part of that question is like incredibly complicated, One Tail, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't have a good answer offhand to the why.
Right on schedule. Don't worry, I got this.
You have bounced my haste creature. Taking 4 from Othakai here is really gross.
We will meet again.
I think it's important that I take Teferi off the table though here, so I can protect my things in the event of Shadow of the Sky comes rolling off the top for them. Hey, Ezio, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday wherever you're at in the world. Urza's Ruinous Blast. It's a little terrifying.
Beg for your life, which makes your night. Behold, my epilogue of fear.
Yeah, it's great.
I am not going to sit this one out. This might be a bad idea.
Maybe I'm supposed to bottom aggressively there, just looking for... It's possible I'm supposed to bottom aggressively there, looking for a, Looking for a, what's it called? A rage, yeah. So this is 4, this is 3. So I could hit them for 13. I actually can't kill all of their planeswalkers, because if I kill all of their planeswalkers... Yeah, I think we're actually dead here. Not being able to take the Kisis off the table basically killed us. What if I... So they have 1 legendary in here. Ashiok's probably going to give them more. They could miss on Ashiok, though. If I kill Ashiok and Tamiyo, they get to Urza's Ruinous Blast me. And that's not okay. Alright, I think I'm just going to go for the hope they have nothing plan. Because I can't beat anything. And then if they have Stone Cold Nothing this turn, we can kill them next turn, potentially, with the Reckless Rage and other things. But, like, just infinite things that can happen to make this go. We're dead on board. Oh, Yorian can blink the Othakaya. Yeah.
Let's try this.
Yep. Yeah, we needed to find this a lot sooner. Their Kisis plus their Ashiok just gave them too much gas. Hey, Ghost Sandwich, thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Kisis Ruinous Blast would have stabilized too, right? Well, no, if you listen to the words that fell out of my mouth, I talked about how killing only one of their planeswalkers made it so Ruinous Blast wasn't castable unless they hit the right combination of things off their Ashiok. Yes, yeah, Othakaya was a big part of what kept them going that game too, for sure. I had to be attacking their planeswalkers. I think dealing close to 12 damage is accurate. They got at least 3 or 4 triggers off of it. 3 or 4 triggers at least. Might be right to mulligan this. That's a great draw. So, as my assessment, this is probably not as good as green for Druid and Seasons. Yeah, I think so, Wargy. I think overall, I prefer Naya for Feather, but I want to work on the Jeskai Luris deck a little bit more, if I'm being honest. I think the Jeskai Luris deck has a lot of potential. We actually had someone donate to get that re-added. We're going to play it on Wednesday, I believe, if I remember what the point totals look like. I had tweeted something about doing something like that float mana late last night, and then some logistical things came up, and we're not. So just normal stream today. Was standard a dumpster fire? Yes. So, and this might be a mistake, but I think I'm actually gonna dispute this. So this way I can have my God's Willing post-Feather. I'm super glad to hear that, Bob. That's another one. Once we play the Jund Luris deck a second time, if it feels good a second time, I think I'm gonna throw that one on the site too. I don't really have enough mid-rangey decks up there. I think that one definitely qualifies as mid-rangey. I guess this is bad against, Shatter. It's fine.
Every story is an opportunity.
Are they dead next turn?
I know I noted this somewhere.
Could be close. So this is +2. So these are 6. We drew fight as 1, so that's nice. Whew! Is it crazy to hit Tamiyo here? I feel like it's not. There's a veto in their bin.
This study is golden.
I don't know. Could go either way on that. Could go either way on that. They like had an untapped land. All of the full details about how to submit a deck can be found on my website there. bit.ly/HugoSellout for short. The TLDR is decks get 1 point for every $1 donated to see it played, plus 1 point for every day it waits to be played. And then you can also spend shillings to bump decks that are in the Q2, the channel point currency. That's the TLDR. We're gonna bottom Arcanist here. This card's been super whelming today. Why, when you can highlight really important messages? Yeah, the highlight message doesn't have nearly as much value on this channel as it would on some others, just because I'm pretty reasonable about catching a lot of chat messages. Sub only chat allows me to be pretty attentive. Man, this is just like the Hallowed Fountain League, huh? I feel like if you just like played Gruul, you would farm so much gold in these events. People love playing garbage decks. I think I'm doing this. This gets this down before. It could also be wrong because it kind of plays into Shatter. I don't currently have a fight together. But we could draw one.
I'm known for my excellent timing. I've got time.
Well, we drew that, but then Teferi happened, so. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, this is just small sample size variance, right? Like, Historic's a super varied format. We played, like, 4 matches and just been a little unfortunate to hit similar archetypes a bunch of times. Really extra glad we bottomed Arcanist, though. Send Vanguard at Teferi, so this way if they instant speed Shatter, we can indestructible this and kill their Planeswalker.
You just let me know if you're up for round 2.
Small sample size Arcane. I think I prefer the Naya build on my site still. Spell, and a little bit of that sample bias too. Like, we played against a lot of Hallowed Fountain so far in this set, and Gruul Spellbreaker's just an all-star there. Hey, news on the Sand Pit. No, I actually should poke my wife. We should get that figured out. We were looking at putting up playgrounds in the a small playground installment in the backyard too for the kids, since public parks are going to be out for a little while. And we had money saved to redo my office, but like, we're not having anybody in to do that into our house probably for the foreseeable future. So we're going to take the money we had saved for that and build, put up something in the backyard. Nah, Magic's pretty all-consuming. My non-Magic card game time recently, or my non-Magic game time, not card game time, is basically gone completely to Raid Shadow Legends. I play it probably an unhealthy amount of Raid. I'm actually going to keep the second Feather on top of my deck, because there's a chance that, thanks for the card draw, opponent. There's a chance that my opponent has another Shatter here, and if they do, I'll lose the Feather I have in play. Mythgard's probably something I'll poke at again when they release their next set. A game like Raid is just more convenient to play on mobile than something like Mythgard for me, because as someone with 2 small children, I frequently have to like stop what I'm doing and like help them with something, and like having priority in a card game or like a timer ticking down in a card game isn't super conducive to taking sporadic breaks like that, even in shorter games like Mythgard. Are they dead? This is 10, 13. These are lethal, right? We just kill them. 10, 13. These are 14, 15. Magic's great, Bob. Yeah, you don't stop, you just take breaks, is the truth. Is it Chrissy due in the near future? What's going to happen with the stream? I'm planning to take a minimum of a week off when Christy eventually pops. And as for what my schedule is going to look like after that week, not making any firm commitments. We're going to kind of just play it by ear and see what happens, what her recovery looks like, how the birth goes. Hey, Mr. Photon, thanks for the 23 months. Welcome back. I mean, like, I like my job too, and like, I don't think that like when I come back it'll necessarily be immediately full-time either, and we'll see. We'll see. For those of you that haven't had tiny newborns before, like, they're not that difficult for the first like 3, 4, 5 months until they start to roll over and crawl. Like, my week off will mostly be because Christy needs time to recover, and I would like a little bit of time to bond with the child extra. Green Hero Miru, thanks for the 5 months. But like, as far as like wrangling a third kid goes, yeah, how much sleep you get can vary a good bit too. I don't know what I want my last 2 cards to be. It's probably just Light of Hope. They probably have enchantments I want to kill. Yeah, until they're mobile, the kids aren't that difficult, is exactly correct. Yeah, my 6-year-old will not be qualified to watch my newborn. Turns out. He's not even really qualified to watch himself. Yeah, and the variance on, there's a lot of variance on how much sleep you actually lose too. Like some kids are up a lot, others aren't. A lot of your students during this pandemic became full-time babysitters. Yep. That's what something I've actually talked about. I'm interested to see how many companies in the long term move more of their employees to working from home, because I feel like any company where their employees maintained the same efficiency while working from home right now, they'll only get even more efficient once their kids can go to school, right? Like my wife's job has been super understanding about her having kids in the background when she's on work calls, obviously, and other people have kids on their calls as well. Fear is a tool. Your girlfriend at Google is being told she can work from home through the end of the year. That's probably pretty realistic. Yeah, it seems fine, Wargy. More repeatable removal is sweet. I mean, to be fair, Matt Maxson, that's easier said than done, especially under the current climate. Been working from home for about 2 months, animating a show. The VFX department wants it to be permanent. Their renderers are much faster. Nice. Facebook is work from home till end of year. We're likely going to be work from home optional forever. The options on which office you go to if you go to an office. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, been hearing that a lot, which is great. It's gonna be interesting to see how cheap office space gets. I feel like office space has the potential to get fairly cheap. I worked more efficiently at home, but they decided they want me in the office now. Gross. I think I'm in for another threat just in case they sweep us somehow. Yeah, it's a tough squeeze, Jukwall. Some people can wait, and other people, like, you know, the U.S. government hasn't really stepped up to be able to help people that need it as well as they should be during this. Work for a very traditional company. Our boss said at a recent town hall that they would never have considered work from home except for COVID. Now they're stoked to not have us in the office. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're gonna see some of that too. Like it pushes people up over humps to like force them to try something they wouldn't have tried otherwise. Alright, so I could do this. And then I think I'm just supposed to hold up fight as one here. So I have 6, 7, 8, and then this is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I'm not quite lethal here. So I think we just smash with this and hold up fight as one. Yeah, I'm shocking in the land to hold up fight as one. Lyra, yikes. So they have nothing in their bin right now? I think I'm just passing. So I don't have lethal, right? If I attack, they like block when they're at a virtual 15. I think I'm gonna do this and pass. Hold up, dispute, slash fight, slash cycle triome. Your company, primarily sales, was moving towards work from home when this happened, so we were ready to work from home, and then we hoped it would be permanent, but the sales numbers came through, and the average consultant made 70% less calls and 80% less emails. Yikes. Okay, so we have to dispute this, so that way they can't shatter us. Okay, so they have a shatter. Oh, I didn't have to pay. I'm dumb. Activated to assert dominance. Yep, I bet that. That's gonna cost me 2. 4 life could be every chunk of life matters with Adanto Vanguard. This card like looks human-ish, so I keep in my head thinking it's a human for fight together, but it's definitely not. Rather than giving you a deck to ladder with for standard, I'd recommend waiting till the historic ladder comes back on the 21st. Just don't worry about it. Same ladder season. You'll have 9 days to get to Mythic. Standard blows. If you want a deck, an actual deck recommendation, I'd recommend pulling up the Magic Fest from over the weekend and just copy and pasting a deck list and going. Ander, thanks for the Prime support. Welcome to Oglandia. I appreciate it. So you're dead. Zaozu, thank you for the 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Let's play one more. See if we get the 4-1 or the 3-2. Have historic deck submissions changed of late? All arena deck submissions are currently $25 because my queue's a bit backed up. Because we had a large demand around the set release and historic hype's been reasonable still through that. Once I work through the standard backlog and we're full time on historic, we'll probably lower that back down is my plan. Ooh, could be Jeskai Luris. So, like a pseudo mirror here. I agree, Pincher. I'm gonna be honest, if they don't ban anything in Standard, I might not even get back on Standard until rotation in the fall. There's a strong possibility that I'm just off it until Agent and Teferi rotate. I would ban Teferi and Agent. No, I don't think so. Core set cards will have an impact in Historic, most likely. It's not very useful. I don't think Fires is an inherently bad design. If I was allowed to do whatever I wanted with Standard, I would not ban Fires. I think Fires is a fine Magic the Gathering card. I think in a world without Teferi, Fires has a reasonable thing that can prey upon it. Dorat, the perfect pet. Is that good enough? Nah, I think we're looking for a Doomblade at this point. I'm also not expecting them to ban anything in Standard. I would be very surprised. Aaron Forsyth tweeted over the weekend about how diverse the Standard top 8 was, even though all the aggro decks just got slaughtered. So I don't expect them to change anything. I think it's unrealistic to expect anything to change. Feeling kind of dead here with this lifelink. So again, if Standard's not the format for me, that's fine. I'll go play other formats. Aaron is or was the head of R&D. I mean, to be fair, like, if you look at just the top 8 and you, like, strip away all... Oh, yeah, I should have blocked it. Yeah, because I wasn't thinking, because we were talking about other stuff. I obviously should have blocked and paid for life. Obviously should have blocked and paid for life. Is this a good draw? I think this is a good draw. Every historic anthologies makes goblins slightly better, right? God's willing. Rude. Ooh, that's exciting. Master Neo. I already read that one. Sorry. I'm a little all over the place. Okay, I think our God's Willings are gonna let us steal us this year, so we can give this pro white and then smack them. Well, I guess they're going back up to 13 here. Hey, thanks for the 35 months, Nemesis. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, so I can fight as one, both of these, and this is plus 3. And then I can God's Willing 1, attack with this, flashback God's Willing the other. And they can gain 1 when blocking this, but then they're still at 12. And this will be 9, 10, 14 total. So I believe they're dead. Why are we attacking and doing math? This deck is, there's a lot of attacking and doing math in this archetype. I did not, Dow's. I don't know what you're referring to. Opponent did the math and concluded they are dead. This seems like a fine Bonecrusher Giant matchup. That was a great matchup where Dreadhorde Arcanist really got to shine, which was nice. We haven't had any good Dreadhorde Arcanist matchups so far today. Birds of Paradise is coming out soon. Oh, sure. Yeah, that could be coming to Historic. God, Birds in Historic? Wow. Wow, Naya, that would be crazy for Naya Winota. Good golly. Really? I mean, like, if it happened into Historic, yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good for Feather too. Yeah, probably good for Feather. I don't know. Is that better than Paradise Druid? It's probably better than Paradise Druid. What am I doing in this game here? Bonecrusher Giant and Deputy sound good. I think Adanto's actually not fine. I don't know. I think the power level's high enough in Historic that Birds is probably fine here. It's a pretty high power level format. Aaron confirmed Birds is coming to Historic? Like point blank? What am I trimming? He said he wanted it back. Oh, sure. Conflicting rumors over Core 21. Sure. I'd be kind of surprised. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know if I'm surprised that they would reprint Birds because, like, with everything that's happened recently, I would not be surprised. Nothing would surprise me. Triomes putting... I really wish... One thing I've liked about this build is having a Triome in your 3-color deck is busted, chat. I wish the Naya deck got to play a Triome. They're so good in this format. Yeah, the control colors... I really wish they'd round this set out sooner rather than later. I think that would be a net positive for the format. Am I playing around Reckless Rage here? Yeah, I think so with this draw. So one of the nice things about Dreadhorde Arcanist, this archetype that actually hasn't come up yet today, because we played against so many Teferi decks, is that Dreadhorde Arcanist and Feather interact the way we want them to interact. So I can block like this, and then I can God's Willing my 10th District Legionnaire here. And then next turn, I can flash back my God's Willing and get it back with Feather, which is great. I think I'm bottoming that. I get another Scry 1 here. Is Pioneer still a thing this channel does? I play Pioneer when people send me Pioneer deck lists, but Pioneer's been mostly a dumpster fire since Theros released, and people don't really send in Pioneer deck lists anymore. Pioneer is super reasonable right now. I would believe you that Pioneer got better with Luris just like Modern got better. I also, again, though, like, I feel like Pioneer lost its identity Pioneer, since Theros released, feels like Modern with crappy mana. I don't feel like there's a compelling reason for me to play Pioneer when I can just play Modern. If that makes sense. It's slightly cheaper than... Yeah, it's not a factor for me. Hey, thanks for the 2/3 of a year, SJ. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Doing this during their upkeep to make them have another spell to cast here. They're Aether Gusting my Reckless Rage. Well, that's rude. Hey, well, sick. Thanks for the 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think I'm topping that. I would not say no to getting a squid in Historic. Love me a squid. Yes, you can rage twice in a single turn is correct. That is what I plan to do there. So this attack doesn't do anything, right? So they know I have this. Nobody stomped this turn, right? So protection works. Well, I was going to think about, did I want to fight as one there? Just to get the trigger, but Arena decided that water stops. So we're going to see what we just talked about come up here. I Reckless Rage this. I put a stop on my end of turn. Reckless Rage is going to come back to my hand. And then while we're still at my end of turn, while this has damage marked on it, we'll Reckless Rage it again. Yeah, if they're newer, they might not be aware that this doesn't fall off if they don't attack. That's fair. And then that Reckless Rage will come back again at the end of their next turn. Because Feather's at the beginning of the following end step. Feather doing what Feather does, dominating creature matchups where people are unable to take it off the board. Yeah, they might have also not been familiar with protection, that's true. Very possible. So I'm going to let their Scry resolve, thinking my Feather's about to die. And we'll do this. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Feather just dominates the creature matchups when they can't take your namesake off the table. I think overall I preferred Feather as Naya. I actually like the opponent's archetype we just played against, even if it does have a rough time when it can't take Feather off the table. I think if I was dead set on playing Jeskai Feather, I would go down to Dorat being the only blue card in the main deck, probably getting rid of Royal Scions and slide these Vanguards into the main. And then, to their credit, the counter spells were very good out of the sideboard. So Stroke and Dispute, if I was dead set on playing Jeskai, are definitely worth playing. But I think overall, the tools that you get for being in Naya Feather are much better. Spellbreaker, Paradise Druid, Domri's Ambush, Season of Growth, even Cindervines out of the sideboard. I think I'd rather be this. And I think if I was interested in playing Jeskai, we're actually going to play a variation of this on Wednesday's stream. We're going to play something similar to what we just played against, which is this Lurrus configuration has felt better as far as Jeskai things are considered. All right, I'm going to hit a quick ad roll before we slide on to the next deck, but don't go anywhere because we've got 2 more historic decks still coming up today. When we get back, we are going to kick the tires on some Kisis combo. I believe for the first time since the latest set released. While we're not playing a companion as a companion, we are going to play a couple copies of Lurrus in the main deck as just a magic card. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.